So welcome everyone who we have here. My name is Zaina. I am a faculty member within the environmental engineering program. I teach and I develop courses within the program. We also have here Brittany, who works in academic advising and student support within the program. We have also Genevieve, who is a second year environmental engineering student. And today I'll be talking to you about the environmental engineering program and what is environmental engineering. So what is environmental engineering? It's a discipline of engineering that's concerned with, first of all, understanding the natural environment and applying this knowledge in order to solve some of the world's most pressing issues. Some of the things that you could be addressing or priorities that you could be addressing as an environmental engineer is what you see here on the right. Things such as supporting the health of natural systems, whether it's water bodies or whether it's living things, providing healthy soil, water, and air, meeting some of the regulations or legal requirements, reducing cost or improving profit, and addressing climate change. So as an environmental engineer, the work you do could be trying to solve or basically do any of these goals. Now, how do you do that? Or what do you exactly do as an environmental engineer? So some of the things that you would be working on include water management or treatment. So you could be working in the area of water pollution, water management, or you could be working in solid waste management or air quality management, or you could be working on renewable energy systems, designing them or analyzing them. You could be working on remediation, trying to clean up contaminated sites. You could be working in sustainable urban planning, such as green buildings or other infrastructure. You could be working in climate adaptation, which is basically trying to make the existing infrastructure able to handle the changing climate. Or you could be working in resource recovery, trying to recover important, valuable substances from waste or from other natural streams. Some of the things that you could end up doing after you graduate is you could end up working in a whole range of different organizations. So you could either be working in consulting, which is really popular across our graduates. Both consulting and government are very popular. And with government, you could be working at different levels of the government. You could be working in technology development companies, so the companies that develop technologies, that supply equipment. You could be working in owner-operator companies, the companies are basically working with a facility. So you're working directly in a facility, a pulp and paper facility or a water treatment plant facility. You could be working in a nonprofit. You could be working in academia or really any other organization. And now I'll show you different positions that you could hold within these organizations. And you will see a lot of things because there's really different things that you could do as an environmental engineer. But one conventional route is to become a design engineer, where you're basically responsible for designing systems that help the environment. And that you could do either within consulting or government or technology development. You could work more on the advisory or analysis side of things as a scientist or advisor. You could work in research and development, whether you're in academia or whether you're in a technology development company. You could work as a climate action planner. You could work as a water management planner. You could work, if you're working within the government, you could also be working on policy making. So you would be working on developing the regulations and developing policies. So there's a whole range of things that you could do within different types of organizations as an environmental engineer. And within UBC, we have two environmental engineering programs. The first one is ENVL. So that program is fully within UBC. It's fully in Vancouver. And the other program is the ENVE. So this program is in collaboration with another university, the University of Northern British Columbia, which is in Prince George. So you spend some time in Prince George and some time in Vancouver. So your first 2 years would be in Prince George, and then the next 2 years would be in Vancouver, and then you would go to Prince George to finish your last term. So it's kind of a collaborative program between the two universities. This is showing you some of the courses that you would be taking as an environmental engineering student at UBC. This is for the UBC program. And the first year is not shown because the first year is the same for all engineering programs. Basically, in your first year, you take some core chemistry, math, physics, and you take some communication courses, you take some introduction to engineering courses. In your second year, you would basically take some foundational environmental engineering courses. So you would learn about how mass and energy flows through systems. You would learn about what thermodynamics is, what are some of the rules of nature. You would learn about computational methods. I would learn about other things. So that's in your second year. In your third year, that's when you start taking some more specialty topics. So you take topics related to air, related to water. So you have an air pollution course, you have a water pollution course, you have a sustainability course. So you take some more specific specialty courses, but also you advance on the courses that you've taken in your second year. So you take another hydrology course that's a little bit more advanced and so on. In your fourth year, that's basically also, one thing about your third year, you also take a small design course. It's a one-term design course. In your fourth year, you take a bigger design course. It's an 8 months design course, and it's a very hands-on course. You get to actually work with real clients, and whether they are government, you work with industry, you work with community, and you actually work on a real design project where you're building systems and you're designing systems that help the environment. So that's something you do in your fourth year. In addition to that, so that's the capstone design course that you see here. And in addition to that, you take some other specialty courses related to energy and courses related to waste management and so on. So that's really the ENVL program, the UBC only program. And this is for the other program, the ENVE program, which is, as I mentioned, a collaboration between UNBC and UBC. So for this program, it's really similar. The structure is very similar in terms of what you do in your second, third, and fourth year. The only thing is you also have one extra term, and that's where you do your capstone course in this program. In both programs, you have to take technical electives, and these are courses that you choose from a range of courses that the department gives you. So you see here 2 websites. They basically provide you with a list of courses that you can choose from. Typically, students choose courses of areas that they want to learn more about. So things that they are interested in, things that they want to learn more about, things that they may want to specialize in later on. And this program provides a lot of hands-on learning opportunities. So starting from your second year, you take some introduction to design courses and you start learning some softwares. And moving on, you take another design course in your third year, and then you take your big design course in your fourth year. There's a lot of involvement from industry, government, and other partners. So we have a very good network of industry partners and government partners who are willing to work with our students and who are willing to sponsor projects and act as clients. So you get a lot of exposure to a lot of partners. And then you also get to learn a lot of different skills and tools, such as software skills. So in this program, you get to basically get an experience in some software and some tools that the workplace really needs or needs people who have experience in. So that will give you a very good advantage when you graduate. And in addition to all of that, there's also the co-op program where you can work for some time. That's also very popular among our students, and students find jobs really easily. And there's also extracurricular design teams that you could join if you like to. So the UBC engineering has a lot of design teams that you could join. And there's also the Environmental Engineering Student Association, which is an association of students that are very active and they do a lot of nice social events. So that makes it easier to build the friendships and to go smoothly through the program. And also the department holds an industry event every now and then. And in this industry event, there's a lot of companies that come and they come specifically to look for hires. So you get an opportunity to to essentially find your future employer. Some students spotlight. This was from a group of students that designed a system that improves the quality of water, specifically what we call runoff water, which is the water that runs over land after a storm event. They worked with the city of Coquitlam here in British Columbia, and they designed the system. They participated into competitions, and they won first place in each. The second competition was an international competition, so they represented both. Not only they represented the environmental engineering program, but they also represented Canada within this competition, and it was a great representation. And then we have another spotlight from another group that worked during their capstone design in their fourth year. They worked on a project with Lululemon, and that project designed a system that basically produces sustainable textile using wastewater. And that was a very interesting project. They worked a lot with Lululemon, they collaborated with them, and there were a lot of exchanges. Another team designed a system that turns mining waste into artificial soil, and they also were working with a partner. So they worked with Tech Resources, which is a mining company. And also they did that as part of their fourth year capstone design. But if you go to our websites, there's a lot of other projects and a lot of other interesting collaborations that have happened with industry and with the government. And now is the time to take some questions. So if you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A. And I think there is already one. So I'll start answering this question. So the question is, are the admission requirements the same as other types of engineering programs? And maybe, Brittany, do you want to take this one on?
Sure, Zena. Yes, so like all the high school students needs to go through like the first year admission criteria that's set by UBC Faculty of Applied Science, depending on whether or not you are domestic or international students. The requirements for the type of courses and English proficiency requirements may vary. So we definitely suggest you to visit the U at UBC admission webpage for engineering students, prospective engineering students, and you will get detailed information and detailed guidelines from there. You can choose like if you are a student in BC or out of province students, or if you are international students, there will be different guidelines and course requirements available on those websites.
And also maybe to get into the environmental engineering, everybody goes through that general first year, but to get into like environmental, there are certain courses you have to pass in first year. Well, you have to pass all the courses, but the courses that are prereqs for courses you're gonna take in environmental. But it is for now, it is quite low demand, so the opportunities are a lot. And what's nice is that there's more opportunities for everyone, so everyone gets a fair game in the environmental engineering program.
Do you have any questions about how many students do you accept each year? So our cohort is between 30 and 40. It has been within that number so far. It's a very good cohort number, I can tell you that, because it allows for a better interaction with instructors. But then, this is the environmental engineering program size. It's somewhere between 30 and 40. So some of your classes would have the size. Some of your classes would be larger because some of the classes are shared with chemical engineering, they are shared with civil engineering. So you could be in even larger classes, but it's a very nice also networking opportunity for you. But yeah, that's really the cohort size. It's a very nice cohort size. I can say that from an instructor's perspective.
Yes, and what's really nice is that you can really get to know your friends, because in university it's really big. Like there are so many people, and this way you get to know the people you work with. And for group projects, it becomes really nice as you become really familiar with the people. And it's just like a small, nice, tight-knit community.
Yeah. And I see another question. Do students need to apply for the specialty after finishing the first year? So we don't have specialties within this program. The only way if you can get more knowledge on a certain topic is to take technical electives within that area. So if you're interested in, let's say, coastal structures, then you can take some courses on that, given that they are within the list of allowed technical electives. That list is really big, so you can really find something for you and something that you're interested in. But there is really no specialties. The other way you can get more experience in a certain area is your capstone project. So in your capstone project, I teach that course, and in that course, you get an opportunity to indicate what area you're interested to work in. So you have a range of areas. Do you want to work in renewable energy? Do you want to work in water? Do you want to work in soil? And usually we get a lot of projects from outside from government, from industry. So you have a good chance to choosing a project that is sponsored, and you can, and people, a lot of times that affects essentially what people do in the future, because if people work in something that they are really interested in, then that gives them some experience before they graduate, and it gives them a good chance to find a job in that area. And I see another question about what are the differences between the two programs. Really, the main difference is where they are held. Some courses are different, but the big difference is the Vancouver program is just for UBC, and you spend your entire time here at UBC in Vancouver. The UNBC program is in collaboration with another university, which is UNBC, and you spend your time half at UBC and half in Prince George, basically. So you go back and forth. Um, and yeah, and also the UNBC program has an extra term of coursework, essentially.
Is after first year general engineering? The answer is yes, all engineering students have to apply to what program they want using like
Mm,
a personal statement. And we get, I think, if I'm not mistaken, this last year was 7 choices we can put in and rank them each to which rank, like if just in case this one's full and stuff like that. But you can only make one personal statement for your first choice.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's a good, yeah. So if, yeah, exactly. So after your first year, you get to choose what program. Environmental engineering is one of the program. There's other programs within the UBC engineering. And do the two programs have different admission requirements? That's a question for Brittany.
Yes, so for the students that's interested in the UBC standalone EMVL program, they go through the UBC admission procedures. So they apply with the UBC admission office. And for students who are interested in the joint UMBC and UBC program, they apply through the UMBC office up north. So they will spend their first, if they get admitted, they will spend their first 2 years at UMBC before they transit over to UBC.
Yeah. And I see a question about courses. So are there courses on sustainability or climate change in this program? So there is a course on sustainability, and I'll see if I can scroll up a little bit. So in your third, in the UBC program, there is a course on fundamentals of sustainable engineering. That's this one here that you take in your third year. There's another course here that is environmental engineering and sustainability that you take in your second year. So both of which are very focused on sustainability. Climate change is really integrated into a lot of other courses. So it's not really one course on its own, but it's air pollution touches a little bit on that because climate change is due to air pollution. But the matter of climate change is very well integrated into other courses. So I know in a lot of your other courses, you have to consider climate change. You have to design for climate change. You have to think about climate change. So it is definitely integrated into a lot of the courses within the program. How many co-ops do you offer in the Vancouver program? That's one of the questions that we got, and maybe also that's a question for Brittany.
Okay, so from the summer, like the data that we collected in summer and winter 2025 sessions, we have 54 students on co-op jobs, and 90% of them who applied to the co-op program ha received job placement, and um, their sectors would cover from consulting firms, government agencies, resource industries, technology and services, academic research, or construction or transportation field. So that represents a variety of different potentials that our students are qualified for in terms of the co-op opportunities.
Thank you. And one more question that we have here in the chat. Do you offer entrance scholarships or other types of scholarships? Um, Brittany?
That is out of my scope of expertise, but I would suggest you to reach out to the admission office. I believe they have a session here with us as well,
Yeah.
like the engineering EAS office, engineering academic services office. They will have more insight on the type of entrance scholarships that are qualified for domestic and international students.
Yeah. There's a session, there's a booth called General Advising, so they will
Mm-hmm.
probably be able to answer this question better.
Yeah, correct.
Oh, I see there's a good question here about how is this program different from environmental science programs? That's an excellent question. And environmental engineering and environmental science are often confused, but really this is the difference between science and engineering. Science is concerned with understanding the natural environment and analyzing the natural environment. So in environmental science, you are trying to understand what is happening in the natural environment to analyze it. But in engineering, you go one step further and you try to design systems to solve problems, basically. So, as an engineer, you are allowed to design systems. As a scientist, you can understand the problem, but you are not really licensed to design systems or build systems. But as an engineer, you can actually make designs of, let's say, water treatment, of remediation systems, and so on. And that's really the big difference between a scientist and an engineer, specifically within the domain of the environment. Excellent. Thank you, everyone.